Hello, Dawn Santoriello here from DS Financial Strategies. It's been a while since I came to you at one of these videos, so today I thought would be an ideal time. I received some questions from clients asking, am I really going to be in a lower tax bracket when I retire? Well, I teach a course on this designed by David McKnight called The Changing World of Retirement Planning, based on his book, his best-selling book, The Power of Zero. And what that is we show people how to retire in the 0% tax bracket. Now, I know you're thinking there is no 0% tax bracket on the chart, and you're correct. There isn't. But if you do effective tax planning and using our current tax code, you can effectively lower your tax liability so that it's in effect as if you're paying 0% taxes by having different streams of tax-free income, which are doing Roths, Roth conversions, your Roth 401k, your RMDs up to the standard deduction, your life insurance plan, if it's funded properly, are all ways to help reduce your income, provide you the income that you need, and reduce your tax liability in retirement. Now, everybody's situation is different, so this is not intended to be tax advice. Please consult with your tax advisor. But back to the question, am I really going to be in a lower tax bracket when I retire? Well, let's think about it. I'm going to share my screen here and actually share with you some slides that I use on my workshop. So let's look at this. Here we go. I have it up here. So now you're not working anymore. You're retired. So your deductions that you enjoyed while you were working disappear. Your house is probably paid off, so you can't deduct that anymore. Well, now a lot of people would probably aren't deducting that, but in the past, that has been a big deduction. Charity, you have more time now, so you're probably donating your time rather than money. And what does the IRS say about your time? They don't care. You don't get a tax deduction for your time. And your children, even if they are still living with you can't deduct them anymore. You don't get a tax credit for them. And the biggest one that most people enjoy is you're not working anymore. So you don't get to deduct your IRAs. You don't contribute to an IRA. You don't contribute to your 401k at work. So it is very quite possible that you will be in a higher tax bracket, even though your income is lower. So that's one of the questions I've received this week. Another question too is, which is better? Isn't it better just to defer the taxes now? Well, I have an example here that I use in my workshop. A couple of brothers named Doug and Gary. So let's make some assumptions here that they both have $5,000 to save every year. They're both in the 30% tax bracket. Now, Gary, he wants to do a traditional IRA, so he invests the full $5,000 each and every year. Doug, he opts to pay the taxes now and put the money in a Roth IRA, so he invests $3,500 a year. So that's the equivalent of what the $5,000 would be. Let's assume they're both going to get 8% on their return for 30 years. So now let's look at it. It's the end of year 30. If taxes remain at 30%, who has more? Gary has $611.729 in his account, but that's before taxes. So after you pay a 30% tax bracket, you're going to be left with that you get to spend, which is really what matters, is $428,211. Doug, on the other hand, has $428,211 in his account, but he doesn't have to pay taxes on that. So if tax rates remain the same, it doesn't matter if you put it in free tax or after. Okay, sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties. So let's assume that if taxes go up, Gary's balance in the traditional, if it goes up by just 1%, his account that was 428,211 a net is going to go down to 422,093. So in this scenario, Doug, who had the Roth IRA, he wins. So basically, the question you have to ask yourself is which account is better is where do you think future tax rates are going? I, myself, and experts and non-experts, a lot of us agree that tax rates have to increase because there's nowhere to go but up. And come January 1st of 2026, they're already slated to go back to what they were pre-2017. So taxes are going up if they do nothing then. But then if you follow David Walker, who you might be familiar with, he was the U.S. controller for the federal government back during the Bush and Clinton eras. So he quit his job in 2008. He wrote a book, Come Back America, and he traveled around the country saying, we have a problem here, and it's not political, it's a math problem that taxes have got to double or we have to cut expenses. Otherwise, we're going to go bankrupt as a nation by, he was predicting 2030. So what have we done? Taxes have decreased and we've increased expenses. So the exact opposite of what he was saying that we should do. So that's why you can see tax rates very well could definitely be increasing in the near future. They could try to kick the can down the road, but you can only do that for so long. So at some point, something's got to give, and they're going to have to increase tax rates. And if you want to go check out David's book, he talks all about that in his book, Come Back America. So I hope that answers that question. So will I really be in a lower tax bracket in retirement? Most likely not, because again, to reiterate, your deductions that you enjoyed while you're working are gone now. And unless you have done some planning, you're going to be, your account, if you follow the traditional advice, which is put everything into your retirement plan, overfund that thing. Well, that's great. But when you get to retirement, if you haven't paid those taxes along the way, you're going to have to pay the taxes when you take the money out. And your RMDs, your accounts probably could be, I see easily clients have like $1 million to $2 million or so in those traditional IRA accounts that haven't been taxed. And then there's something called RMDs, required minimum distributions. So when you reach a certain age, right now it's 73 and it's going to be 75 for most people, you're going to be required to take out that money. And if your balance is growing and growing, it's going to be a bigger burden. Now that very well is going to jump you into a higher tax bracket. Even if tax rates remain the same, because now your income can be higher because those RMDs. And another thing you want to watch out for is not just income tax. We like to look at provisional income. And what that is that's 1/2 of your Social Security and all your income. Rental income, RMDs, any money you have from your 401ks. It doesn't include Roth money. So you take 1/2 of your Social Security and you add all of that. And what provisional income is, that's what they use to determine how much of your Social Security is going to be taxed. Yes, for those of you who aren't aware, your Social Security can be taxed. So if you earn over $32,000 as a married couple, 50% of your Social Security is taxed. If you earn over $44,000 as a married couple, 85% of your Social Security is taxed. So not only is there income tax, there's Social Security taxation. And then there's also IRMA charges on your Medicare. You could be paying more for your Medicare premiums if you have higher incomes. So these are all a couple of examples, and I could talk for hours. There's so much, but I just want to give you little nuggets on what to look for. And if you would like help to evaluate what your current situation is, then give me a call at 215-660-0288, or you could go book your complimentary consultation on my website at dsfinancialstrategies.com. Thank you and have a great day.